Hello, everyone. Thank you for taking the time today to join me for today's presentation, talking about the benefits of construction-specific payroll processing by Payroll for Construction here. My name is Alex Gray, going to be the host for today's webinar here. We still have some waiting to join the webinar here, still have some people filing in, so we'll go ahead and get started here in a few minutes. Just wanted to hop on here real quick here, give everyone a heads up, but we'll be back with you here in just a few moments. Thanks again for taking the time today. All right, looks like we had a few others join us here today, so we'll go ahead and get started. So for those of you just joining us, thanks again for taking the time out of your day to join us for today's webinar presentation of the benefits of construction-specific payroll processing hosted by Payroll for Construction. Today's webinar, for those in the audience, is a listen-only webinar here. You will see that there is a questions box. So as I go along here today, feel free to throw any questions that you have in the chat there. Some of them I may get to as I go through the presentation here today, but as well, we will have a questions and answers portion towards the end of the session. But with that, we'll go ahead and get started. So my name is Alex Gray, one of the regional sales managers here at Payroll for Construction. My email, phone number, contact information is on the screen there for you guys. I'll pull this up again here at the end of the discussion here today. Anyone that has any questions or maybe is interested in setting up time to discuss our payroll services here, feel free to give me a call, shoot me an email at any point in time here. Happy to help as needed. But without further ado, we'll go ahead and get things started here. So today, we're going to be talking about payrollforconstruction.com and how our payroll service can help with construction payroll. Being a construction-specific payroll provider, how we have ways that our system is set up can manage what's going on for your team's payroll runs, having that complicated construction payroll. Who are we, what we do? We're an online payroll service provider just for the construction industry. Mainly here too, we are working with union prevailing wage contractors here at Payroll for Construction. We are processing payroll in all 50 states. We do have clients here in all 50 states, and those clients are working in one state, working in multiple states, does not matter, can handle that with the payroll processing and the payroll services here at Payroll for Construction. One thing that does make us different from other payroll providers out there is we are powered behind the scenes by a full job cost ERP accounting software known as Foundation. They have over 35 years of experience in the construction industry here at the company. Foundation software was created back in 1984, but in 2006, the team here realized that, hey, not everyone needs the full power of that accounting system. One of the great parts about it's going to be the powerful payroll module, along with the ability to job cost inside that system. So we pulled out the portions of that accounting system and created today what is known as Payroll for Construction. And then we're going to be able to pay your employees via check or direct deposit as that payroll service provider. We'll handle all tax filings and payments when it comes to payroll here. So the weekly, monthly, quarterly, annual tax filings and payments can handle any federal, state, local authorities, FUTA and SUTA, as well as the filing and distribution of employee W-2s come year end. And then also along with that payroll service, going to have the automated reporting that's specific to that construction industry when it comes to payroll here. So job cost reports, If any of those in the audience today are union contractors here, going to be able to generate those union reports, track all the information directly inside the system, as well as have print and electronic versions of certified payroll reports, EEO minority compliance, along with some other reports inside the payroll system that are all included as a payroll for construction client here. But who we are, what we do, that construction specific payroll here. So again, we're talking about the benefits of using a construction specific provider, and that's exactly what our system is built to do, to only handle construction payrolls here, where with payroll for construction, like I mentioned earlier, doesn't matter if you're working in one state, working and reporting to multiple states here, our system is going to be able to handle the tracking and reporting as the service provider for however many states, whatever states you are working in as a payroll for construction client, as well as multi-locality contractors here. If anyone in the audience is working in states like Ohio, Kentucky, where we have multiple localities that we need to track for that employee, for that job, and then also make the corresponding filings and payments where within our system on that specific job record or on the specific employee's record, we're able to set up and tie in taxing tables that you need, where as hours are being coded into the system, going to automatically track where we need to go for those state reportings, for those locality reportings, as well as that provider, we can make those filings and payments to however many states, localities you are working in for your team's payroll runs there. Then also within our system here, we're going to be able to go in and on the employee record, set up and say, hey, I have Rick as a part of the team making the set $15 an hour when he's working on private commercial work for us. But those that have prevailing wage jobs, union jobs, we're going to have specific above scale rates of pay that we're going to need to track and pay based on what the employee was doing, that classification wise, the type of work being performed. So inside of our system here, we're going to be able to set up tables that we can automate the pay rates for the prevailing wage union contract based on what we're doing for the team here. Then as hours are being coded against that specific project, based on what the employee is doing, their classification, can pull in and automate the rate of pay for that employee there. Within our system, unlimited number of jobs, rates, states, all on one time card for these employees here in 1 week, and have the system automatically pull in those rates of pay based on those tables that we are able to set up inside of your system here as a payroll for construction client. Then along with the pay rate calculations here, also going to have the need to track the fringing calculations, deductions per that prevailing wage contract. So we'll also have separate tables to track the fringing information or also the union benefits that we need to track per those specific unions that we're working with. Have the system automatically track those fringing calculations, as well as too, if we have anyone, what we like to call prevailing wage fringe reduction here or fringe credit, where we're already providing our employees a certain amount of benefits here where we don't want to overpay. We can have the system set up to automatically track that fringe reduction, whether you need that fringing information to just be paid to the employee there, if we need to set up that prevailing wage fringe reduction, as well as too, if those fringes are being broken out into specific buckets or going to a specific plan. If we have some sort of fringe external provider that we're working with that the information needs to go to, we can have that fringing information set up, tracked, and then pulled into a report for you to send off to those providers of who we're working with for that fringing information. As well as to the last point here, workers' compensation information. So with payroll for construction, we do not handle any workers' compensation payments, but we do know how big of a part of the payroll process, job costing information, tracking that workers' compensation policy is. So we'll still get that workers' compensation set up inside the system, can have that tracked, broken out by the type of work, the classification for our team there, and can even set up caps to what's ultimately being exposed to workers' compensation. As those hours are being coded in, can then run a workers' compensation report that will be automatically tracked, can run from a high-level class breakout, or get down into an employee-by-employee, earn code-by-earn code basis. Right. Then going hand in hand with that construction-specific payroll is going to be then the construction-specific reporting. So the automation of the actual processing, the calculating of the payroll, that beginning portion is going to be handled by the system, as well as then also provide you at the end that actual construction specific reporting. So all the reports here today that you'll see inside the system, all those that are inside of your payroll database are included free of charge as a payroll for construction client here. Will all be automatically tracked as that payroll information is being submitted into your database here. Certified payroll reports, going to have over 40 different print formats, state, city, federal specific formats available for those print, or as well as too, if anyone in the audience today is using any electronic upload portals for those certified payroll reports, LCP Tracker, EMAR, California DIR, the state of Maryland has their own specific format here, and others available inside the system here. We have the ability for you to generate those certified payroll reports, whether we need print or the electronic upload, directly inside of your payroll database here. Also going to offer minority compliance, EEO reporting. Going to have print and electronic versions available of those reports here as well. Job labor, burden cost reports here. Also with more custom detailed job cost reports to track maybe what we're doing for against the specific cost code, task code for our team there. Workers' compensation, then also 401k, any benefits that we're providing to those employees there, can have those tracked. Reports show us where we stand. Then also too, any union contractors there in the office, in the audience today, whether you're working with one union, whether you're working with multiple unions, again, we can set up all the union pay rate, union benefit information. Then as those hours are being coded for the employees, automatically then track where we stand with those unions, can generate those directly inside of that database. And then my final point here today, child support and any other tax court order garnishments there, can have those set up to be automatically withheld. Then if anyone in the audience wanted to handle any garnishments in-house with the service, you could do so, or you could also outsource any court order garnishments to our team. After the amount is withheld, our team can send off and report the garnishment information where it needs to go. At our core, we're still going to be that traditional payroll service provider here, where we can pay the employees via check or direct deposit. We'll handle all tax filings and payments when it comes to payroll here. So the weekly, monthly, quarterly, annual tax filings and payments here, quarterly and annual returns, as well as W-2s and other year-end service offerings that we do provide here. As well as with those employee W-2s, we'll get all payroll history, what's been done so far this year, up to date with our services, so that employees would only receive one W-2 from Payroll for Construction. If any of those here, we're looking at transitioning to the services in this year. Then what else makes us different here? Now, we are powered behind the scenes by that job cost ERP accounting software, but we know not everyone's using Foundation here, where we're going to have a direct integration with QuickBooks and other accounting programs out there, where after payroll's processed, you run the QuickBooks integration tool. Once that payroll has then been passed back into QuickBooks, going to trick that accounting system into thinking payroll was processed there, but in reality it was processed with Payroll for Construction, have all that information broken out on that job-by-job basis. So this product can stand alone and integrate with other accounting products out there, or be built directly into our main accounting software here. And again, too, our only focus here is construction. We're going to have a staff of professionals experienced only working with construction payroll, more specifically to union prevailing wage payrolls day in and day out here. Our support staff is our team trained in-house only in our systems here. Could walk down the hall at our office, go meet with our support staff. Available Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern, unlimited free support included as a Payroll for Construction client. You could call in, log a ticket. You'll have a live receptionist that will connect with you and be able to walk you through and assist with whatever may be going on with that payroll database there. Then also here, we do offer a mobile time card application for field time card entry here. We do have 2 separate mobile offerings that connect directly to that database. But we also do offer a time card import feature where you do not need to use our mobile applications to use a mobile app with Payroll for Construction. You then pull the file out of that time card system, go ahead and import it into your payroll database, can streamline the hours entry into that payroll system with us here. Then your payroll system here, web-based access anytime from anywhere with an internet connection. some sort of PC, laptop, computer device will be needed to access that payroll database, but go ahead and enter your username, log into that system. Then finally, we do also offer an online pay stub portal here for the employees to retrieve their pay stubs electronically. But those two, maybe we can't have some sort of online pay stub portal per our union bylaws, that union contract we have seen there. We will provide copies of the PDF stubs, as well as can have any paper checks distributed to those employees. A few options to choose from how we handle any live checks to the team there. Right. Then how a payroll is processed. You simply log it online to your payroll database. You'll either enter or import those time cards into the payroll system. You'll then have a number of proofing reports, pre-check registers to review the time card entries, as well as the payroll calculations before our team ever touches that payroll for payroll processing. Then once everything looks good to go, you'll simply click submit directly inside of that payroll system, send a copy to our team of that payroll database. Our team then within the hour will have that payroll processed, give you a full report breakdown of what was handled, total amount of checks, direct deposits, total tax liability for that week. Then we're handling all the filings and payments as the provider there. Then all the information flows seamlessly into your payroll reports that you can pull at any point in time inside your payroll for construction system there. All right. Then we're going to go ahead here and pivot. I'll jump into the database here for everyone in the audience to take a look here today. So again, with that payroll for construction system here, you are viewing then the home dashboard for payroll for construction. Again, you will notice in the top right corner, our main parent company foundation software is referenced here, but we're using that watered down version of the accounting software here with payroll for construction. Then within the payroll system here, it really boils down to kind of entering then, hey, do I have any new jobs that I need to set up here today? Okay, I don't have any new jobs. Takes 10 to 15 seconds to enter a new job into the system here. Really is a very easy process to get a job set up. You enter that job name and number. You check a box if we need certified payroll reports to be generated for that project there. And then those, my multi-state contractors there, go in, select the corresponding taxing table for that specific job record. Then also too had mentioned those jobs, we can have them set up and marked as prevailing wage or a union job here and track the corresponding information via those tables. So inside payroll maintenance here, payroll maintenance, you're going to see that we have specific language, specific tables to handle what's going on with those union prevailing wage runs here. Where on, on the actual employee record, I can set up that private commercial rate. But within the system here, our clients have access to these tables here if they wanted to make a quick update, or we can manage these union prevailing wage tables for you as a payroll for construction client here, where it doesn't matter how we want these tables to be laid out and named. For my union contractors here, you get a union contract, send it over to our team. The system isn't going to be preloaded with every single pay rate for the unions there, as there's too many unions here for us to keep and track that pay rate information. So we ask our clients, once you get that union information, send it over to us. We can get this set up and tracked inside the system for you as a payroll for construction client, where we'll list out the corresponding trades, the corresponding rates of pay. Then that union information can be tied to that employee or to that specific job record of what's going on here. As well as too with these tables, you will notice that there's an effective date here. If we say, hey, the first of the year in 2024 here, here's all of my pay rates per that contract, then maybe 6 months later or a year later, everything's going up by $1 in that new union contract we get sent. Okay, as soon as you get the updated information, send that over to our team. We'll go ahead and set up the new information here and timestamp with the upcoming effective date. So no matter if that pay rate change happens at the beginning of a payroll run, in the middle of a payroll run, the system will be able to use that effective date, switch over the employees once that effective date hits to the updated rate of pay. The system could also timestamp that pay rate change on our employee stubs for us to be able to review. Then all of our employees will be caught under that pay rate table here. No need to go in and update 10, 15, 20, 30 employees' rates of pay when that change happens with payroll for construction, as they will all be caught under these tables. And again, we can manage these for you as a payroll for construction client. Then I'll also show you too, those prevailing wage contractors here in the audience today. Same thing with the prevailing wage tables. During implementation, we'll get you connected with a trainer. We'll work with you on how you want your tables to be named, laid out inside the system here. Prevailing wage table 1, job 97021. Then the same thing, we can list out the corresponding trade classifications, the work being performed by our team with the corresponding rates of pay. Tie that table to the specific job record here. Then that job record, a job is a job inside of our system. The system, as the hours are being coded in, will look at what this is. Is this a prevailing wage job? Is this a union job? Is this a private commercial job? Then pull in the corresponding rate of pay based on that employee's trade classification, and then also track the corresponding fringing information or union benefits based on what's going on for that employee. Unlimited number of tables can be set up and managed inside Payroll for Construction here. Close out there, then going hand in hand with that pay rate is going to then also be the corresponding deductions fringes, the union benefits or prevailing wage fringe table here. So within this system then, based on that union contract here, if all trades are being calculated at the same rate for those benefits, or if we need to get down into a trade by trade, employee by employee basis, we can absolutely do so. Within the system then, our team, again, can manage these benefits tables for you as a client, or your team will have access here as well, where then if we're setting it up, we'll mark what this actual benefit is. Is it a deduction? Is it a fringe? We'll set up then all of the corresponding benefits, how you want them to be named, laid out inside the system. And then within that database here, with us knowing that each of these benefits are going to be calculated a specific way here, we're then able to mark how that needs to be calculated. Is it based on hours worked? Is it based on hours paid, where we could have the 0.5 calculation from overtime be subject to that benefit, or we don't need the 0.5 calculation from overtime to be subject to that specific benefit there? Is it a percentage? Is it a fixed amount here? Set up the rate, how it's being calculated, then the rate it's calculated at. Can even control how these are taxed, set up limits to what's ultimately being exposed to these benefits here. And then also to have that effective date that we can control when we need to switch over information, if any changes need to be made at a certain point in time to those benefits based on an updated contract here. It's also going to be the same here for that prevailing wage cash fringe here. So again, for that prevailing wage job, if all trades are being calculated the same, or I need to get down into a trade by trade basis per that prevailing wage fringe calculation here, can absolutely do so. Mark it as a fringe. No matter if we're just paying this as a cash into the employee's paychecks here, or we need to break out that fringe into multiple buckets here, maybe it's going into a 401k plan, can have that fringe be broken out, tracked automatically as that hours are being coded to that project for the employees here. Then also pull all fringing information, everything we need into those certified payroll reports, everything that we need for those jobs will be tracked directly inside of our payroll system here. All right, I'll go ahead and close out of these tables here. All right, then again, our tables have been set up here, then also with employees here. During the building of your payroll system, our implementation team, we have a data extraction specialist that can go out, export that list of employees where they're currently being held here, import them in to get that system built. Then once you're live with Payroll for Construction, any new employees, you come in, set them up inside the system here. You can import employee information, manually enter it into the system, or as well as not something that I'll cover here today, but we did just recently release, at the beginning of this year, our own HR employee onboarding portal here, where we could have employees onboarded through that HR system, have their information then after the employee completes their side of the onboarding, the employer then completes the opposite side of that employee onboarding, have them then automatically sent, passed over, and set up inside your payroll system. So we do have ways that we could streamline the onboarding process as well. For any of those that are interested in our services, we'll be happy to talk that HR system in more detail if anyone does want to set up some time to talk one-on-one here. All right, but then once that information's been set up here, all right, again, you come in, you set up a new job record here. I did see I have one question here. Can job information be imported, or do we have to manually type the information into the system? That is a great question. You could just manually type that job name and number into the system here, or we do have the ability to import some sort of Excel CSV list of job numbers and descriptions there. We do have our own import template that you guys could enter the job information on and import in a large number of job numbers there at once if you didn't want to manually type each job into the system. So you could import if you wanted to do so. But then once that job's set up here, all right, then your team will be responsible for bringing those hours into the system. Again, you can manually enter information into the system. We could import hours from some other mobile application or from an Excel file into that payroll system. Then once hours are entered here, going to have a number of proofing reports, pre-check registers to review where the hours and calculations stand. Or my time card list proofing report here. If I just come in and run this report, it's going to then show me all my employees' hours that are entered across this week. Craig, Arthur, Greg, all their corresponding projects, along with the employee subtotals here, broken out by their earn types. Then showing me everything that went into this employee's time card here, pay rate-wise, then also too, hey, was this a union or a prevailing wage project? Under the union column here, there's no table being tied in. Rick's making that, or Craig's making that private commercial rate of pay. Then on the two other projects he had worked in this week, prevailing wage projects with their own separate corresponding rates of pay. So Craig here has 3 different pay rates all on one time card in this week for the multiple projects he had worked against. Also showing us our corresponding taxing tables, can review everything that's going on with this employee's hours for our week. Then also too, all of our reports here are going to greet us with a criteria tab that allows us to control how we want this report to be formatted. So hey, you know what, maybe you don't review your hours subtotaled on an employee by employee basis. You like to see them broken out on a job by job basis here. It's as simple as coming in, changing my sort option to be by job. I don't care about employee subtotals. I want to see my subtotals broken out on a job by job basis. Rerun this report. I now have the same information, but being broken out on a job by job basis, giving us our overall job hour subtotals here. So we know how with that construction payroll, the reporting, seeing where the information stands is a big part of the system. Then getting your reports laid out in a format that your team likes to review information in. You don't need some sort of computer science degree to do with Payroll for Construction. You simply utilize the criteria tab, and we can also set up and save custom default layouts on a user by user basis here. So if Rick in the office wants to see it broken out by job, then Jennifer's logging in wants to see it on that employee by employee basis. Based on who is accessing the system, we can set up and save default formats for information inside that database, along with other security measures too, that you can lock down on what certain users can access, see, do inside your payroll database there. Right. Then also along with the reviewing of the hours here, have a number of pre-check registers, calculators to see where the hours and information stand. The big one here, the pre-check register. If I run this report, then show me all my employees who are currently set to receive a paycheck, how they are going to be paid, overall hours, earnings, deductions, giving us our overall net pay. Then once hours, calculations, everything looks good to go, it's been reviewed by your team, you simply come over, click submit directly inside that Payroll for Construction system. Within the hour, our team will have that payroll processed. Then all the information flows seamlessly into your reports for you to then utilize here. So in the payroll report section, all of these are included as a Payroll for Construction client here. First one I'll jump in today, workers' compensation. You put in the date range that you need, then multiple formats available for these reports here. If I come in and run this here now, I'm going to get a high-level class breakout for my workers' compensation information. Classes, overall hours worked, gross earnings, and what was actually exposed here. Then, hey, maybe we're going through some sort of audit here. Hey, we see that we have 112,000 for gross earnings for our electricians here, but we only reported based on 111. All right, I can come back to that criteria tab here and see where this actually came from. I can see this on a trade by trade basis or an employee by earn code basis, where I switch my format, rerun the report. I now have all of my employees under their corresponding classifications here, broken out by the earn code. Arthur here, 2 hours of overtime, $63 was the gross earnings, but only 42 was exposed based on our cap setup. Have all of our information broken out by the classes, then giving us our overall subtotals here at the bottom. Then also with any report that I'm covering here today, PDF, Word, Excel, CSV, click a button, save it to the desktop. Very easy to pull the report outside of the system, send it off where it needs to go if a user did not have access into the payroll database here. We'll jump out of the workers' compensation report here. Next one, EEO minority compliance reporting here. Again, electronic and print formats available for those reports here. I won't go through every example here today for the sake of time, but going to have state, federal, city-specific formats for these reports here. The report format changes. Our team is staying up to date with the report layouts, the industry regulations here, where we will update that report format included as a payroll for construction client. A minority compliance report need the federal layout here. Again, put in the date range that you need here. Then we can also control how we need these reports to be laid out via the criteria, the details tabs. As we know, not every single client contractor is going to need that report generated the same way. Once the information has been set, run the report, generates your monthly employment utilization report based on that format needed, pulls all that information in for you. If there's a spot for it on the report, there's a spot for it to be tracked, pulled in via payroll for construction. Have those reports included as a payroll client here. Then also certified payroll, going to be the same thing, electronic and print formats, where electronic, come in, select the format that you need, DIR, EMARS, LCP tracker, the state of Maryland, Texas, whatever format you need, go ahead and select. I'll select the LCP tracker for my example here today. Once you select that format, click OK. Enter the date range that you need for that certified report. We could run this for one job at a time, multiple jobs at a time here, where then we'll control where we want this to be saved on your desktop. You run that LCP tracker report here, and it's going to look like a jumbled mess of information. And again, that's because we're creating the file upload for you guys to then upload into the online portal here. Where what you'll then do, close, file's not been created, create file now. You click yes, save it to your desktop. Go ahead, log into the LCP tracker, whatever online portal we're using there, upload that file there, click submit. Your certified payroll report has then been generated by Payroll for Construction. There is no manual entry of certified information with Payroll for Construction here. We'll jump out here. That's the electronic format. Then going to be the same thing with certified payroll print here. Come in, put the date range that you need this to be ran for here. One job, multiple jobs at a time. As well as with this report, we know again, not everyone needs the same information on their certified payroll reports when it comes from contractor to contractor. So our team will work on getting that report format saved, broken out for you of what you need. Then you go ahead and select that format that you need. Over 40 different print options available inside the system here. I'll just do a quick scroll through for those in the audience to check them out. Then again, report format changes. Our team is updating, timestamping that change inside of the system here. State of New York has about 50 different certified report formats. Go through, show you generic WH-347, that U.S. Department of Labor report. Select your format. We'll pull in all the information into that certified report. Can also include garnishment breakouts on that certified report if any of those in the audience need. Then also include the corresponding signature page, PDF it, pull it outside the system, sign it, send it off where it needs to go. As well as too, if anyone ever does need no work performed certifieds, can also have the system generate these as well, again, based on what your team needs for your specific jobs inside your payroll setup. I'll close out of this one here. Then the other one, for our union contractors here, our union, we're making time for us to then make the payment, report over to the union, access your union deduction fringes summary report here, put in the month date range that you need, then again, can control what information we need to be displayed on that union report for whatever union we're working with. Go to that, giving my company name, date range, overall union that we're working with, then pull in all of our union employees, their pay rates, overall benefits here, then show us our overall summary of where we stand with the union and what we need to cut the check for to then make that payment over to whoever we're working with. And again, too, one union, multiple unions does not matter. You can have as many unions as you need, whatever unions you're working with, set up and tracked inside your payroll system with us here. Right. Then the last big report I'll show here today that a lot of our clients do utilize is our burden summary reports, where, hey, with construction payroll or payroll in general, I'm paying Rick $15 an hour, but once FICA, FUTA, SUTA, workers' comp, the rest of our burden comes into play, be more so $25, $26 an hour, where our burden summary reports can be ran on an employee-by-employee basis, be ran on a job-by-job basis, where the report will take our overall hours and our earnings, then also include all of our true benefit burden calculations here to show us then our true average hourly rate of what our employees are actually hitting us for when it comes to our payroll runs here. All right, we do see that as a very popular report with our clients here for that information being pulled in, but I'll go ahead and close out of this one here today. Then with that, a quick high-level look into Payroll for Construction, that database for you today. If anyone is interested in setting up time to go through a one-on-one demonstration to talk more based on your team's needs, your payroll setup here, be happy to set up time to talk on the phone here with any one of myself or our representatives here. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and open this up to any questions that the audience may have today. Go ahead, feel free to throw those questions in the chat, and we'll get those answered for you. We got one here. Our union utilizes their own forms and also report on the NECA website. How are those union transmittals handled? Carrie, great question there. We can create custom report layouts for specific unions. That's something that we've looked at in the past here. So if you are interested in setting up time to discuss one-on-one, we could look at that specific union layout, see if that's something that we could get set up inside the system for you to pull the information as needed there. Then in response to the NECA upload there, we do not have any direct NECA uploads for the website here, but we do have the ability to provide all the information for you to then enter onto the NECA website. So would have the reports pull the information for you, but we don't have any direct uploads for that website there. All right, Carrie, yeah, we'll definitely connect with you after the webinar here today. Would have no issues setting up a demonstration for those products for you. So we'll be in touch after we hop off here today. All right, looks like we have another one here. Can I cut any layoff checks? Great question. Yep. Any of those in the audience that may ever need a one-time check, a layoff check in the middle of a payroll cycle here, we'll set up an off-cycle payroll period where you'd be able to go in, enter any one-time check information for the team there. Hey, I got an employee in the office, we're laying off, needs to get paid before he leaves today. You could go in, enter that one-time check information, cut it outside the database, hand it to that employee to get paid. The next time we process that week's full payroll run, we'll be able to see any off-cycle one-time check information and get everything up to date on our end as the payroll provider here. All right. Doesn't look like we have any other questions here. So again, my contact information is at the bottom here. Anyone who has any additional questions or again is interested in setting up time to discuss one-on-one, please don't hesitate to reach out here. But with those today attending today's webinar, I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to go over the overview of Payroll for Construction, how we can simplify that construction payroll processing there. Again, please don't hesitate to reach out. Any questions, anything else we can do to help, but I hope everyone has a great rest of your day today.